Welcome to the Misophonia podcast. This is the third episode of season 2. My name's Adil Ahmad, and I have misophonia. I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I've got a lot of conversations with misophones in Europe. Today's is with Kateřina, who lives in Prague in the Czech Republic. She says this is the first time she's spoken with someone who has misophonia, and as a reminder, in this chat she's actually also speaking with all of you as well. One thing she talks about a lot is how this has affected her relationship with her family growing up, especially with her dad. I know this is something a lot of people will identify with it, and I know it really did for me. Another thing I've been doing actually recently is connecting people with past guests. So if there's an interview that really resonated with you, let me know, shoot me an email, and I can try to make a connection. That's hello@misophonia.com. Also, you can send me DMs on Instagram at Misophonia Podcast or Twitter at Misophonia Show. All right, here's my conversation with Kateřina. Welcome, Kateřina. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you very much for having me.
So, I think you found out about, you reached out over Instagram, I believe.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's great. So, why don't you tell us kind of where you're from and where you're from and kind of what you do. Are you a student or working?
So I'm from Prague. I'm from Czech Republic, and I'm 18. I'm trying to finish high school this year, which has been kind of a problem with the whole Corona thing. So that makes it a bit different. But I hope I will get to that, and then probably, some other university maybe, something. I hope for that if I get to some. So yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us? So you're in school right now. You were obviously going to classes, and now obviously because of the lockdowns, you're at home. Was it kind of rough for your misophonia in school? I've heard a lot of stories about all across the world. It's students are not the most considerate of people like us.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious how that was like.
Yeah, I think it was really hard at first because I developed it over time, as most of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But at first, when I really started to think, this bothers me, and I tried to express it to my friends, they were kind of like laughing and making fun of it, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that made it, they were making it on purpose for some time. And when they really started to notice that it really, really bothers me, I think they stopped. And now they are really understanding. But it took time.
Yeah, that's
Definitely
kind of what you hear
time.
a lot. Yeah, you hear people kind of mocking it at first, and then you find out who your real friends are, and then they kind of come around. So, did you start talking to them when you found out that misophonia had a name? I'm curious how you kind of...
Yeah. I found out about a year ago, I think. So not that long ago.
Yeah.
That it had a name. And I was so relieved. Like, it was really surreal because for my whole life, I was thinking like, I'm crazy. Because nobody reacted the way I reacted. So it was really hard for me growing up. But when I found out about it, that it has a name, I was just so relieved, and I tried to share it with my friends. Like, hey, I have this thing, and I think it's called misophonia, and it has a name, and people have it. I'm normal. Other people have it, so that made it more normal for me. And I think I found some kind of articles and I shared them with my friends, and it made it more normal for everybody because they learned about it, I learned about it, and it was a really, really big relief for me. Yeah.
Did you by any chance find any of your friends or anyone you know also have misophonia maybe?
No.
Okay.
No, you are the first person I'm talking to ever that has misophonia. So this is really, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's no. I'm glad you reached out, and there's, as you know, there's many people like us. And then, so going back, you said this was bothering you for a long time. Do you remember kind of the beginnings?
Um, I've developed it over time, but I remember from a young age, the biggest trigger for me was my dad, um, which I really try not to blame him, but it's really
Yeah,
it's really hard. And I think the thing that really made it really hard for me was when I was about, I think, 6 or 7. My family got a camper, which, if you're familiar with that, it's a car that you travel with, and it has like a small kitchen, small shower, 2 beds. It's just like one room,
yeah,
and that's the whole car, and you're like stuck in that with other people. For me, that was my mom and my dad. Um, yeah, and my dad is kind of really loud person in that sense. Like he chews really
oh yeah,
loudly and stuff like that. Yeah, so I was really exposed to those kind of things. Um, yeah, and there was no escape for me because my bed only had like a curtain, and that was it. And then there was my dad chewing his food like next to me, like, yeah. So I was really exposed to that, and it made my holidays really hard. I wasn't
mm-hmm.
excited for traveling. I wasn't excited for spending time with my family, which is just sad, just really sad.
Yeah,
So
it's a common thing, and yeah,
yeah,
it is. Yeah, we will feel that kind of like kind of guilt and shame and whatnot that comes with
yeah.
that. And you said it started to was the camper was these road trips where you first noticed it, and you said it kind of expanded. Did that mean expanded to other people or other kinds of
Yeah,
triggers?
yeah, yeah. I don't really remember like exact moment when I was like, yeah, this bothers me. I
Yeah,
think there it always was there,
yeah,
in the back of my mind. Um, yeah, and it was first it was just my dad. But then it expanded. Now it's also my mom, and friends, and public transport is really hard for me.
yeah. So
Yeah.
let's talk about that. So you obviously well now you're at home.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm assuming you're living in something bigger than a camper, so at least you have maybe some kind of privacy.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
when you used to go out in the world, was it like
Mhm.
headphones all the time? How
Yeah,
did you kind of deal?
I live in headphones. And I am like I feel really bad sometimes because I feel rude to other people when I'm in school and we're having lunch and I just can't, so I put my headphones in. And yeah, I feel like I'm being rude, but that's the only way I can handle it. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's that. Yeah, we eventually all, I think, hopefully get over that and just be like, well, this is the only way you can be productive. And honestly, it's better than you maybe lashing out or reacting to somebody. What do your teachers say? Do they mind, or do you just kind of like not
um
not say anything?
I've never really expressed it to them, I think, but I remember one moment when we were writing a test in chemistry, and it was, winter, and everybody had their throats like sore, and they were coughing and
Oh, yeah,
sniffling, and it, I never been like physical with anyone or something, but
right.
I throw some faces, to people on people.
The glare,
Um,
yes,
yeah.
yeah, hmm
So when I was throwing those on like everybody, like every second of the test, he said something like, "Please be quiet," or something. But that was
mm.
like the only encounter with teacher like that I had in that sense. Um, yeah.
Yeah, so over
But
here, that over here, some people have said that they're able to get some kind of like accommodations at schools, and some teachers are trying to be, um, accommodating. It sounds like, what's the situation like in Czech in general? Is there like no understanding of misophonia, no chance of anything?
yeah, I've never met with anybody that known about it before.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's really hard. I think I love Czech people, but they're really judgmental
yeah,
overall. So it's really hard to explain it because, um it sounds weird at
yeah.
first.
It does, yeah, right, right. It sounds, yeah, it sounds like, I mean, it sounds like you're something that people are annoyed by, but they don't
Yeah.
realize that it's
And
much,
it,
much
it
more.
yeah, it's everybody says like, yeah, everybody gets annoyed, just get over it, but
Yeah.
it's not that simple. And
Is that what your parents said?
yeah.
Yeah.
At first, I think, with my dad, it's kind of hard in this sense because he has his pride, and I think he doesn't like to be critiqued.
Yeah.
So when I like try to politely say, please, maybe could you be more quiet or something, um, it's, he says, yeah, sorry at first, but he doesn't really stop,
Yeah.
or I
Yeah.
think he forgets, and I don't blame him. I don't blame him because um he is living in my body, so he doesn't really know how it feels, but
Hmm.
it's just so hard. I feel so bad for critiquing him or something. And it really made our relationship harder, I think. Really, really made it harder because um I'm at the point of avoiding him, I think.
Hmm.
And I, he notices. He notices and he asks like what's wrong, and I just feel bad. So I don't know what to say. Yeah. So it made my relationships in my family really, really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. That's not, you're not the first one I've heard that happen to.
Mhm.
That's, yeah, it's a common, unfortunate side effect of this. Do you also have, do you also have like visual triggers that go along with your misophonia?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I can't really look at people when they're
Yeah.
chewing stuff. Yeah, I can't do that.
Even if you don't hear it, it's kind of
Yeah,
like you can
yeah, yeah,
tell your
yeah.
brain is telling you something's going to
Yeah.
happen. Yeah.
And especially, I don't know, but my dad is like the biggest trigger. So especially with my dad, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but yeah,
Your brain's
that's a
probably been
big one.
trained that
Yeah, that's a big
that
one for
this
me.
is a
Yeah,
risk factor. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
And so I guess you haven't, well, obviously you haven't talked to, have you even thought about approaching like a professional? It's obviously, you haven't talked to anybody else. I'm wondering if there is, a culture of like psychologists or psychiatrists that, or therapists that, you would talk to maybe about other mental health issues.
Yeah, I have my psychologist
Yeah.
because I'm really sensitive person, so I take a lot to my heart, so I need that. But yeah,
Hmm.
I mentioned it to her. I mentioned
Ah,
it,
okay.
but it was like at the end of the last session we had, and that was like, I don't know, like a half year ago because I didn't really have any other problems. So I think I just forgot to talk to her after that.
Hmm.
So I mentioned it, and I think she told me she known someone that had it also.
Mm,
Um, but I don't think we really got into it. Yeah,
gotcha. Okay, and that was your
yeah,
last visit with her, and that,
yeah, yeah,
it
yeah.
just kind of interesting. Okay. Yeah, I'd be curious if you ever, hopefully you won't have to go back to her, but if you
Yeah.
did, what she might say. I was just talking to somebody who also had a therapist, and they hadn't heard
Mhm.
of it, but they actually then went to do the research and came back and had some actually good advice. So sometimes, even if they don't know, they might be interested in learning about it. I don't know how the culture is over at Czech Republic, but
I don't think there is like any culture in this sense. In the
Right.
in the misophonia, as I said, I never heard anybody
Yeah.
say misophonia in Czech other than me. Like,
So I'm
yeah.
wondering how did you so were you doing a do you know if you remember if you do were you doing like a Google search on like hearing issues? How did you find out
Um,
about it?
yeah, I think it was some random YouTube video, and there was
Ah,
this
yeah.
guy, and yeah, it's like these two brothers, and they were eating, and he expressed that he wanted to listen to music while they were eating because he's annoyed of the sounds. And I was like, oh, I know that. I know that
Mm-hmm.
feeling. And then he said the word misophonia, and I was like, what? Um, because I never heard of it. So
Right.
I Googled it, and yeah, that's when the relief came because yeah, and then I started googling more, and I found some little document on YouTube, which it looked like some group of students made it,
Mm-hmm.
and I scrolled through the comments, and yeah, that was a big one for me because
Yeah,
there were all these people talking about it, and I was like, wow, I'm not the only one.
yeah, it's amazing what how and are you still kind of and has that obviously it helped you right away by giving
Mhm.
you some relief. And has that changed? Have you what have you learned since then? Has that changed kind of how you've been dealing with it compared to before you knew about it?
I think it's really nice for me to have a label on it. I don't like labeling stuff, but for this, it really helped me because when I tell other people, could you please maybe be a bit more quiet? Um, it's really nice to follow it up with, I have this condition, other than, yeah, it just really bothers me. But
Yeah, I've
if you
heard.
say,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I was just gonna say I've heard that if you frame it as kind of I have a condition
hmm
that reacts to something you just happen to be doing, is it's better than like stop doing that, or yelling at
yeah.
the person or whatever. So
Because then people think that you are just hypersensitive and
right,
overreacting, but if it has a name, then they can Google it. I can explain maybe a bit more, and it's easier for everyone, I think.
so you're now at home, kind
hmm
of finishing up school. Have you thought about kind of what you want to do, university and later in life, knowing that you could be working in an environment that could be noisy, but there are maybe you want to do something quieter. Have you kind of thought about how this might kind of evolve in your life?
Yeah, I think I want to go to a university of marketing or
Mm-hmm.
some kind of thing like that. Yeah, and I'm really scared of the future. If I have to work in like shared offices, I don't know what I will do. Like, I will have to live in headphones like 24/7.
Yeah, I
So,
do, and
yeah.
yeah, a lot of people, especially with like AirPods and stuff, it's become a little bit more acceptable to have earphones on. But yeah, shared offices were kind of tough. Well, the one good thing about maybe this COVID coronavirus is that there's going to be less open offices, and I think going back to
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Yeah, I
more
think.
separation, which yeah. So, but yeah, that is definitely something to consider. Is like, yeah, the office space that you might go into.
Yeah, I'm really scared of that because yeah, I can't really when I'm trying to work, I need to have my quiet time and I really need to, think, but it's really hard to think when you have those all those triggers around you.
Right.
It's
Working from home is usually good, especially if you can find a quiet room.
yeah.
So you found out you found out about it online. I'm curious if you looked on like there's Facebook groups, there are Reddit groups. I'm sure sometimes people say where's everybody from, and people say where they're from and whatnot. It'd be interesting if you wanted to kind of connect with other people around you. I don't know if you've gone online to some of the misophonia groups, but that might be a good place to find other people that you can kind of just that are nearby that you can kind of meet up.
Yeah.
Maybe not
I've
meet up,
never
but at least they're around you.
I've never really thought about it until yesterday when I was listening to one of your podcasts, and
Mm.
there was this girl from London. I think it was
Oh yeah,
her
Isabel.
second to last podcast.
Yeah.
And yeah, you told her that there were people in London, and she was really surprised. So I thought about, reaching out and like maybe searching for some Facebook groups.
Yeah,
Um,
I can send you.
yeah.
I can post some. I can send you some, but they're not that hard to find, and yeah,
Yeah.
there is. I mean, there's in the UK. I mean, there's a lot of research and obviously a lot of people. So hopefully she found someone. I know Amsterdam has a lot of research, so there is a lot. I think it shouldn't be that hard to find other people around Europe
Yeah,
and
I will
everything.
definitely think about it because that would help me, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've set up some kind of regional groups here where we have like just like a Zoom call with
Mm.
10 or 12 people, and it's just like once a week, and you can kind of like get to like decompress on the week and just kind of like, okay, these are my problems, and maybe get some advice from other people. It's just a nice way to kind of like end the
Oh, that
week
would
and
be
reset
really
the week.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I would really like to participate in that. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe maybe we'll try to set up a kind of a Europe group or something. So,
Yeah, that would
because
that
sometimes
would be perfect.
the online groups get a little bit noisy and just kind of constant ranting and whatnot. It's hard to like
Mm-hmm.
make connections. So yeah,
Yeah.
that might be interesting. Um, and you don't have any siblings, do you? It's just kind of you're living with
No,
your
no, no.
parents.
No, it's only me and my parents. Yeah.
Gotcha. And do you have do you have family get-togethers and whatnot? Is there like an extended family that are also
Um,
triggers?
Yeah, I have a bit of extended
Yeah.
family, but nothing like really big. I have some cousins, I have my grandma, grandpa, but that's kind of it. Um, yeah, we get together on Christmas, I think, and yeah, like one or two times a year.
Yeah.
Um,
So
yeah, it
what do you do
was
in those situations? Is it kind of
um
avoidance or
yeah, I really try to
take a walk around the neighborhood or
yeah,
something or
yeah. When we are like eating together, I really,
try to eat fast?
that's, yeah,
Yeah.
I eat really fast, and then I try to go to toilet or something because I need to avoid it. Um, so
That
yeah,
is actually a good tip. The bathroom can kind of be like a great safe space.
yeah, because everybody
Right.
goes to the bathroom, yeah. So you just put your food in the mouth in like 30 seconds, and then you're gone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, holidays, yeah, Christmas and Thanksgiving here at least can be kind of they're usually considered kind of misophones generally dread those holidays because you got to get together with
Yeah.
everybody.
Is the only time of the year like when I actually eat with my parents.
Mm,
Because yeah, I that's one thing that I'm really happy about is that when I found out about like that misophonia exists, that it is a real thing. Um, I was like, I have it, and I think I have it when I explained it, or like what it is. And I was like, would it be possible if from now on I was just, eating in my own room?
mm-hmm.
Yeah, and my parents were really understanding in that sense. Sometimes my dad is like, yeah, come eat with us. It will be okay. I will really try hard to be quiet, but I know that he will forget, and after a while, and it will be the same. So I'm like, oh, thank you, but no, I think I'm going to pass on that because it would be hard for me, and
Yeah.
yeah.
I know someone else who I interviewed said he he kind of eats kind of standing up, like so his family, his kids and his wife kind of sit down, but he's
Hmm.
kind of between the kitchen and the dining room eating, so he's kind of on his feet, and
Oh, okay.
so he can kind of modulate, so he can kind of like participate in the conversation, but also just kind of slip out if like he needs to, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
needs to get away for a second and come back. And sometimes maybe just the just having that ability to move can kind of calm things down a little bit in your brain,
Yeah, I
at
think
least
so.
for some
That's really,
people.
yeah,
So
that's really interesting. But I think my senses are too, I can hear like everything. If
yeah.
and yeah, I need to be in a different room with locked doors, and that's it because I really can't. Yeah, sometimes I really can't.
Yeah, some people with misophonia are so some people have like tinnitus where things are masking things, but some people have yeah, extremely such sensitive hearing that they say they can kind of hear almost every conversation or every sound in a room. Are you
Yeah,
in kind of several rooms away? Are you one of those people?
yeah, I'm one of those people.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can
Hmm.
hear everything. It's crazy. Yeah.
So do you so you say you live in headphones, would even like earplugs kind of help too, just to kind of like dampen
Yeah,
things a bit?
I live in headphones. It's kind of funny. Or funny. It wasn't real funny at that time, but now when I look at it, but every year I go to this exhibition in Amsterdam. It's like a work thing, and my dad goes too. And when I was a bit like smaller, I don't know, like 14, 15. Um, we had shared room. So I was with my dad, and it's in winter. So the exhibition is in winter. So it's he had been coughing a little, and he had been sniffling a lot. And it was at night. And I was laying there, and I didn't have like normal headphones.
Hmm.
So I had to sleep with those big ones. Those big ones when when you're gaming.
Oh yeah, over the ear headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, and I had to sleep with those. And I was just crying myself to sleep
yeah.
because it was unbearable. And I remember at the end of the week, I was asking my dad like maybe once every 2 hours to maybe be a bit more, quiet.
Hmm.
And at the end of the week, he got really angry with me. And that
Mm,
was at times when we didn't know about the condition, like we didn't know it had a name.
yeah.
Yeah, and I think he called me some names, and he started to do it on purpose.
Ye-
Um, and that was really hard for me. And I
yeah.
totally broke down. Um, yeah, it was really hard at the time, but yeah,
What
now
age?
it
What age
yeah.
was that?
Um, I think when I was like 15,
Okay. Okay.
I think, yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. It may be funny to look back on, or
Yeah,
the headphones part at least.
yeah,
But
the other things are not.
yeah, was it a common kind of experience where there would be kind of like a flare up, and then your parents would kind of push
Yeah,
back?
yeah, with my dad especially, I really try not to blame him again,
Yeah. No,
but
that's a good perspective, but it is, yeah, it is tough.
yeah, yeah. He has his pride again, and
Yeah.
he's yeah.
Well, I bet, I mean, that might be part of, I'm maybe speaking out of turn, but that might be part of Czech culture, and that's why I think it might be, I think it would be useful to, helpful to meet other people in your area who might have kind of
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
similar shared experiences too. I mean, I think we all have very shared experiences. I know, yeah, I can kind of like tell stories that are not too dissimilar, but yeah, it would be interesting to have, I think people near you to be able to to kind of just talk to, especially when we're all allowed to go outside the house again.
Yeah, that's because I was really when I discovered your podcast, I was really excited because I had all these people, and it was really interesting to listen to every story. I didn't hear like all of them, but
Yeah,
and
go on.
yeah, it's okay. I'm really shy person, I think, and I can get a bit nervous, as you can hear probably.
Oh, it's
But
all good.
yeah, and I thought about it, and I was like, wait, I could talk to this person that
Yeah.
has misophonia, and I could share my story. And I was thinking about it like for maybe 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, I can't do that. I'm too introverted for that. But here I am. I
No,
think
most people
yeah.
here are. Yeah, most people here are, and you're not talking to me. You're sharing it with hundreds of people who will be listening to
Yeah.
this. So, yeah, is there any I know you're shy, but I'm just kind of new to you. I'm just curious if there's any other things that you want to ask, or kind of other tips or anything you want to share about your
I know
experience with
maybe
misophonia.
maybe when you talk to like so many people with miso, just what are like common things people do other than like headphones, because yeah, that's like common. You put headphones in and you call it a day, but it can get a bit rude. So, or
Yeah,
I
and it's
feel rude.
also
Yeah.
it also kind of just wears on your ears. I don't necessarily want to have. I've never gotten noise cancel. Well, I've never worn like the big noise canceling headphones for very long. I just kind of I try to kind of moderate that a bit. So one thing people do is just kind of if they're in a situation, they they try to kind of have know the exits, like have a way to kind of move away. If it's kind of a meal or something,
Hmm.
one thing helps me and helps other people is like just telling your brain that it's a meal, so it'll be over in 20-30 minutes. And
Hmm.
so just kind of reminding your brain over and over, just close your eyes, tell your brain that it's not to panic, not because it's a fight or flight situation that your brain
Yeah.
is feeling. So if you can just calm your brain and just say nothing's going to hurt you for the next 20-30 minutes, just go with it. No one here is here to hurt you. I find that helps me, and I don't remember to do that all the time, but that's one thing that helps me, and I've heard that help other people. Kind of time boxing, kind of saying this period of time is not going to hurt you. So
Hmm.
try to get get through that. Um, as far as other tips, yeah, it's just a tough thing.
Yeah.
Um, is obviously trying to tell people is just kind of it's a tough hurdle to get over because you never
Yeah,
know
it
what their
is.
reaction is going to be. But yeah, and like you were trying to do, I was trying to kind of frame it as it's not it's not that person that's the problem. It's kind of your condition that is not
Yeah.
able to process normal sounds, some normal sounds. So kind of framing as kind of a problem with your neurology, your brain, which is where the research is kind of going. Framing it that way can kind of help. I've heard a lot of people say that. Yeah, those are a few things, and then the other thing is like I kind of mentioned a little earlier. At colleges and also at work, people here are able to use kind of the federal laws to like disability laws to try to get special consideration for like exams, like school exams,
Oh,
to
okay,
do them in a
okay.
separate room, maybe, or be able to wear headphones. And so if people have been, yeah, so people have been able to go to their human resources at their work or their professors and teachers at school and use kind of the disability laws to kind of get special help. I don't know how that works in Czech Republic, if that works at all, but that's another way people have been able to help. And then other than that, going to psychologists and sometimes helps, although it's hard to find one that knows what you're talking about. So,
Yeah, it is.
but yeah, but meeting, connecting with other people is a good way to do it, and hopefully, more awareness leads to more people, you know, being nicer about sounds and hopefully do more research as well. So
Yeah, I think this is like a first step for me in connecting to other people, because I think this would really help me to, have the community of people that have the same problems as me.
yeah, it
Because
is kind of
nobody really can understand it. So, people can be understanding, of course, but they will never know
right.
how bad it can feel. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of game changing when you know there's a community. You won't always, it's not going to help every situation, but yeah, it's amazing how similar our experiences are. And yeah, just can kind of help just having other people to listen to and talk to.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that.
Cool. Well, Kateřina, yeah, it's great talking to you today. Yeah, I'll follow up with, you know, resources and also put them in the show notes on online groups and maybe connect you with some people that I think would be a great people to talk to. But yeah, I want to thank you for, coming on as kind of the first time you've talked about misophonia. It's a big step, so I really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, thank you very much for having me. It was a blast. Thank you.
Thanks everyone for listening. Hope you enjoyed that chat with Kateřina. Let me know what you think on Instagram or Facebook at Misophonia Podcast or Twitter at Misophonia Show. Let me know how you're doing in lockdown. I know it's about over 2 months in, and I hope everyone is finding ways to cope with any triggers that might be happening. If you'd like a sticker mailed to you, just shoot me a mailing address at hello@misophoniapodcast.com. Join me again next Wednesday for another great conversation. Until then, wishing you health, peace, and quiet.